Liam hated being tied down, yet I unexpectedly found myself pregnant with his child. That night, I tested his feelings. He casually flipped through a financial magazine. Why the sudden question? I nervously denied my hint. He put down the magazine and looked at me. Emily, we're not ready to have a child right now. But I was already pregnant. I happened to overhear the town's aunts gossiping. Emily has been with Liam for 3 years, and it's all because of his status. If you ask me, why not just have a child? The Morong family isn't without precedent. You don't understand. Liam hates being schemed against. If Emily dares to do that, she'll probably be driven out of town. For the sake of the child and myself, I packed my bags overnight. I want to go back to the city to work. Thank you for taking care of me these past 3 years. A month later, I was hiding in a rented room in the provincial capital, just back from an obstetrics checkup, when suddenly someone pulled me into their arms. The man's voice was hoarse, clearly exhausted. Emily, who exactly told you that you could disappear without a word? This child is really adorable. I sat in a cafe in town scrolling through my phone, while Liam sat across from me handling emails. Hearing my words, he didn't even look up. I felt a bit dissatisfied. You didn't even look, how do you know if they're cute or not? Liam finally looked up, glancing at the screen of my phone. Emily, you've already shown me videos of 5 kids today. He closed his laptop, his gaze sharpening. What, are you thinking about having children? My heart skipped a beat. Lately, I had indeed been unconsciously paying attention to anything related to children, and mentioning it so frequently today, anyone would find it strange. I forced myself to stay calm. No, it's just that I find them cute. The algorithm recommended it, I casually liked one post, and now my screen is full of kids. Liam leaned back in his chair, his long fingers tapping lightly on the table. It was his habitual gesture when thinking. The cafe was quiet, with only soft music playing. Emily. His voice was gentle, but I inexplicably felt nervous. If you want to have children, you can just tell me. I gripped my phone tightly. I really don't. My career is just starting, and the town's project will need at least 2 more years to stabilize. He interrupted my explanation. We're not in a place to have children right now. I nodded. I know. Liam reached out and patted my head. Be good, okay? Just wait 2 more years. Okay. I lowered my eyes, not daring to let him see the panic in them. The pregnancy test report I got yesterday was still in my bag, the white paper seeming to burn my heart. Patient status, pregnant. Gestational age, 6 weeks. I was pregnant, already over a month along. Back at home, Liam went to the study to handle work, and I sat alone on the balcony, lost in thought. The night in the small town was quiet, the distant mountains like dark ink, stars twinkling here and there. 3 years ago, I graduated from university in the provincial capital. I had already found a job, but I returned to this small town because my grandmother fell ill. At that time, Liam happened to be back investing in his hometown, developing a tourism project in the town. We were neighbors when we were kids. He was 3 years older and always looked out for me. Later, he followed his parents to study in the provincial city, and we lost touch. When we met again, he was already a rising star in the business world, while I was just an ordinary town library clerk. Emily? Liam came out of the study. What are you thinking about? I snapped back to reality. Nothing, just looking at the stars. He walked behind me, resting his hands on my shoulders. Will you come with me to the county tomorrow to meet an investor? Okay. I looked up at him, his profile sharp under the moonlight. For 3 years, he had treated me well, giving me everything I wanted, except an identity. We never talked about marriage. He had his career, I had my job, and we existed together in this awkward, undefined space. Now with a child, everything has become complicated. He says it's not the right time to have a child. What am I supposed to do? Liam, I suddenly spoke. If I mean, if we accidentally had a child, what would you do? His hand paused, then gently stroked my hair. Emily, that kind of assumption is pointless. We've always been careful, there won't be any accidents. I closed my eyes. But what if it really happens? Then. He was silent for a long time. We'll figure it out together. His answer left me even more uncertain. Lying in bed that night, I secretly touched my belly. Inside, a little life was quietly growing. It came suddenly, I didn't even know which moment gave it the chance. But after all, it was my child, the bloodline of Liam and me. I wanted it. But Liam didn't. This plunged me into deep conflict. Early the next morning, Liam received a call. What? There's a problem with the project? His voice was tinged with anxiety. I'll head over right away. After hanging up, he turned to me. Emily, the county meeting has been cancelled. There's been an issue with the investors. Is it serious? I'm still gathering information. He put on his coat. You should rest today. I might be back late. He hurriedly kissed my forehead and left. I watched his retreating figure, my feelings tangled. This project was very important to him, the first step in his entrepreneurial journey back home. If I told him I was pregnant now, would it put even more pressure on him? In the morning, I went to the library for work as usual. The town library was small, and not many people came by, mostly some elderly and children. I was sorting the newly arrived books, my mind elsewhere. Emily, what's wrong today? You don't look well, Auntie, the librarian asked with concern. It's nothing, maybe I didn't sleep well last night. Auntie was warm-hearted and looked a bit worried when she saw me. Are you feeling unwell? Why don't you go back and rest? I can handle it alone today. I'm really fine. But actually, I did feel a bit off, with a slight nausea when I woke up this morning. This must be the so-called morning sickness. At noon, Liam sent a message. The investor pulled out at the last minute, the project might be delayed. I looked at the message, my heart sinking. Is there something you need me to do? No, you just rest well. I'll talk to you when I get back tonight. In the afternoon, I left work early and headed home. Passing by the small clinic in town, I impulsively walked inside. Doctor, I want to get a checkup. The old doctor, a longtime resident of the town, recognized me. Emily, what's bothering you? Well, I just want to have a full checkup. Half an hour later, I walked out of the clinic holding the new test report. Confirmed pregnant. Looking at the report in my hand, my emotions were a tangled mix. Back home, I hid the report deep in the drawer. It wasn't until 9 at night that Liam came back. He looked exhausted, his brow furrowed. How did it go? I poured him a glass of water. The investor suddenly pulled out, saying there's a problem with the funding chain. He rubbed his temples. Now the project can't move forward. I sat beside him. So, what do we do next? We'll have to find another way, or pause the project. He leaned back on the sofa. Emily, if the project really can't continue, we might have to leave here. My heart tightened. Leave? Go where? Back to the provincial capital, or somewhere else. He turned to look at me. Would you be willing to go with me? Of course I would. I answered without hesitation. But in my heart, I was thinking, if we have to leave, then what about this child? Liam, if we really have to go, when? Maybe soon, at the latest next month. I nodded, but my mind was in turmoil. If I had to leave next month, I needed to make a decision quickly. Should I tell him I'm pregnant, or? That night, I couldn't sleep. Liam was lying beside me, breathing evenly. I gently touched my belly and silently spoke to the little life inside. Baby, what should mommy do? The next day was the weekend. Liam went to the county to pull some strings and try to save the project. I was home alone, feeling restless, so I decided to go out for a walk. There was a small market in town that was especially lively on weekends. I wandered aimlessly when suddenly I heard a familiar voice. Emily and Liam have been together for 3 years now, right? Yeah, but unfortunately, they still don't have an official status. If you ask me, she's just too honest. Didn't the Morong family make some arrangements? I heard there's already a suitable candidate in the provincial city. I stopped in my tracks, hiding behind the fruit stand. What candidate? A business marriage. I heard she's a well-matched heiress. Liam's career isn't going well right now, he needs family support even more. What about Emily? What else can be done? If they're meant to split, then split. Men can play around, but when it comes to marriage, it has to be a match of equals. My heart felt like it was being cut with a knife as I quietly left the market. A business marriage? Liam had never mentioned this to me. I thought about when he said he was leaving town, was it really to go back and get married? Back home, I sat in the living room, lost in thought. In the afternoon, Liam came back, his face looking worse than yesterday. How is it? I asked, forcing myself to stay calm. No hope left, he slumped down. The project is completely dead. I walked over to him and gently stroked his shoulder. Is there any other way? Unless there's new investment, otherwise. He shook his head. Forget it, let's not talk about this. I hesitated for a moment, then finally voiced the question weighing on my mind. Liam, at home, have they arranged anything for you? He looked up at me, his eyes a bit evasive. What kind of arrangement? Like, marriage, for example. He was silent for a long time, then sighed. Emily, some things are still too early to talk about. His answer only made me more certain that those rumors were true. So, what about us? We'll talk about us later, okay? He stood up. I'm going to take a shower first. Watching his back as he walked toward the bathroom, I felt an unprecedented loneliness. He has his family responsibilities, his career considerations. And I am just a passerby on his life's journey. Now, there's also a child. At night, we lay in the same bed as usual, yet it felt as if thousands of mountains and rivers separated us. Liam, are you asleep? No. If we break up, will you miss me? In the darkness, he turned around and held me. Don't overthink it, just get some sleep. But he didn't answer my question. I closed my eyes, yet the tears kept flowing. At that moment, I made a decision. Since he was leaving, I couldn't hold him back. This child, I would raise alone. Monday morning, Liam left early. He said he had to go to the provincial capital to handle some matters and might be gone for a few days. Emily, take good care of yourself while I'm away. I know. He kissed my forehead. When I come back, we'll have a good talk about our future plans. I nodded, but in my heart, I thought that maybe by the time you return, I won't be here anymore. After seeing Liam off, I began packing. 3 years' worth of things weren't much, just one suitcase. I called Auntie to ask for a few days off, saying I needed to go back to the provincial city to see a friend. So sudden? Auntie sounded worried. Emily, is something wrong? Nothing, it's just that my friend has an urgent matter to attend to. In the afternoon, I bought a ticket to the provincial capital. Before leaving, I left a note on Liam's desk. Liam, I've thought it through, we're not right for each other. I'm going to the provincial capital to find a job. Please don't contact me anymore. Wishing you a bright future. After writing the note, tears streamed down my face again. 3 years of feelings, just ending like this. At dusk, I boarded the long-distance bus heading to the provincial capital. The lights of the small town gradually faded away. I gently touched my belly and whispered, "Baby, we're about to start a new life." The provincial capital was huge. I found a cheap rental online. The landlord was a middle-aged woman who looked curious when she saw me dragging my suitcase alone. "Young lady, you're living here by yourself?" "Yes, I just came to the provincial city for work." "Then be careful, it's not very safe outside these days." The apartment was small, 1 bedroom and a living room, but it was enough for me. After settling in, I started looking for a job. I hadn't told anyone about the pregnancy yet, planning to wait until after the 3-month stable period. A few days later, I found a job at a small bookstore. The owner was an elderly man in his 60s, very kind. "Young lady, you seem very quiet and gentle, this job should suit you." "Thank you, boss, for giving me this opportunity." The work was easy, but the pay was low, barely enough to cover my living expenses. Thinking about having to raise a child in the future, I found a part-time job as well, writing copy for people online at night. Life was busy, but fulfilling. Most importantly, I could finally decide my own life freely. A week later, I received a call from Auntie in town. "Emily, when are you coming back? Liam has been looking for you everywhere." My heart tightened. "Did he say anything?" "He said you had a fight and asked where you went." "Emily, what exactly happened between you two?" "It's nothing, we broke up." "Break up? Why? Weren't you two doing well?" I smiled bitterly. "Auntie, some things are too long to explain. Just tell him not to look for me anymore." "But..." I hung up. "I'll come back to see you when I get the chance." After hanging up, I turned off my phone. I knew Liam would definitely find a way to reach me, but I had made up my mind, I didn't want to go back to my old life. That evening, I went to the hospital for a prenatal checkup. The doctor told me the baby was healthy but advised me to rest and maintain good nutrition. "Where's your family? Why did you come alone?" "He went on a business trip," I lied. "It's best to have someone with you during pregnancy, being alone is too hard." I nodded, but in my heart, I thought, from now on, it will be just me. Back in the rented room, I looked at myself in the mirror. My complexion was a bit pale, my figure unchanged, but I knew the little life inside me was growing day by day. "Baby, even though it's just the two of us, Mommy will take good care of you." In that moment, I felt incredibly strong. Life in the provincial city was very peaceful. I went to work on time every day, did part-time jobs after work, and occasionally went to the hospital for prenatal checkups. No one knew I was pregnant, and I was happy to keep it that way. The morning sickness was mild and didn't affect my daily life. The biggest change was that my appetite improved, I always got hungry quickly. The bookstore owner's surname was Wang, a very kind man who often brought me some homemade snacks. "Emily, have you gained weight recently?" he joked. I instinctively touched my belly and said, "Maybe it's because your snacks are too delicious." "Haha, then you'd better control yourself. Girls still need to keep their figure." I smiled and nodded, but in my heart, I thought, in a few months, I won't be able to hide it anymore. A month later, I gradually got the hang of my job, and my life settled down. Except for the occasional thought of Liam, most of the time I was able to stay calm. Until that afternoon, when I was organizing books in the bookstore, I suddenly saw a familiar figure appear at the door. It was Liam. He wore a black coat, his face haggard, eyes bloodshot. My heart instantly jumped to my throat. How did he find this place? Liam pushed the door open and entered, his gaze searching the bookstore until it quickly locked onto me. "Emily." I forced myself to stay calm. "What are you doing here? You disappeared for a whole month, how could I not come looking for you?" He stepped in front of me. "Why didn't you answer my calls? Why did you leave?" I lowered my head and continued organizing the books. I wrote it very clearly in the note. "What do you mean we're not compatible?" His emotions flared. "Emily, we've been together for 3 years, and you say we're not compatible just like that?" The boss sensed the tension and came over. "Emily, who is this?" "My friend," I hurriedly said. "Boss, I need to take a leave and step out for a moment." "All right, go ahead." I took off my apron and followed Liam out of the bookstore. It had started to rain outside, the autumn rain biting cold. "Emily, come back with me," Liam grabbed my wrist. "Let's go home and have a proper talk." I pulled my hand free from his grip. "Liam, we've already broken up." "When did I ever agree to break up?" A flash of anger crossed his eyes. Do you think writing a note can end our relationship? Aren't you going back to the provincial city to get married? I finally spoke my mind. If that's the case, what's the point of us continuing? He was stunned for a moment. Who told you I'm getting married? The whole town knows. Your family arranged a business marriage for you. Liam was silent for a long time, then gave a bitter smile. Emily, are you leaving me just because of this? Isn't it true? It is. His answer made my heart sink. There is indeed such an arrangement at home, but I can refuse. Will you refuse? I looked into his eyes. Your career needs family support. Would you reject this marriage for me? He didn't answer immediately, the silence said it all. I smiled faintly. See, even you aren't sure. Liam, let's break up. I turned to leave. It's better for everyone this way. He grabbed me roughly, pulling me into his arms. Don't leave. For 3 years, I've given you the best of everything, and this is how you repay me? His voice echoed in my ear, Emily, you're so cruel. I closed my eyes, struggling to hold back the pain in my heart. I'm the one who doesn't deserve you. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm just a small-town librarian, and you're the young master of the Morone family. We were never from the same world. Liam released me, cupping my face in his hands. In my eyes, you are my whole world. My tears mixed with the rain, but you still have your responsibilities, your family, your career. None of that matters. Does it really not matter? I looked at him. If your family insists on an arranged marriage, would you really refuse? He fell silent again. That silence was more convincing than any words. I pushed him away. Liam, let's end this. That night, Liam didn't leave. He stood downstairs outside my building all night. I looked down from the window. In the rain, he was motionless like a statue. I wanted to go down several times but held myself back in the end. The next morning, he was still there. Boss Wong saw him and asked me worriedly, Emily, why has your friend been standing outside all night? He is a bit stubborn. Do you want to invite him up to sit? He'll get sick if he stays out like this. I shook my head, no need, he'll leave on his own. But 3 days passed, and Liam still hadn't left. During the day, he sat in the cafe across from the bookstore, watching me work through the glass window. At night, he waited downstairs from my apartment. I finally couldn't take it anymore. After work on the 4th day, I walked up to him and asked, what exactly do you want? Liam stood up, his face pale and haggard. Come back with me. I already told you, we're broken up. I don't agree. His voice was firm. Emily, you belong to me, and no one is going to take you away from me. Does that include your family? He paused for a moment, then said, I'll take care of things at home. How will you handle it? Refuse the arranged marriage? I'll find a way. What way? I pressed on relentlessly. Liam, your career is struggling right now, you need your family's support more than ever. Would you give it all up for me? A flicker of pain crossed his eyes. Emily, give me some time, okay? How long? A year? 2 years? Or until you remember me? It won't be long. I smiled bitterly. Liam, I can't wait any longer. Saying that, I turned to leave. He grabbed my wrist with a grip so strong it hurt. Don't go. You hurt me. He quickly let go, looking at the red mark on my wrist, his eyes full of regret. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I rubbed my wrist, my heart a tangle of emotions. Liam, let's both calm down. I'm calm, he looked at me. Emily, I know you still have feelings for me. Why do you have to torment us like this? Tears welled up in my eyes again. Because I don't want to be a stumbling block in your life. You're not a stumbling block, you're my motivation. Then why can't you give me a clear answer? I looked at him. If you really want to be with me, why don't you dare to refuse your family's arrangement? He opened his mouth but ultimately said nothing. I understood, he still had reservations in his heart. I'm going back, I said, turning away. Liam, we're really not right for each other. This time, he didn't follow me. Back in the rented room, I leaned against the door and cried my heart out. Love and reality are always so cruel. I touched my belly and whispered, "Baby, Mom has chosen you. I hope this decision is the right one." The next day, Liam didn't show up again. Boss Wong asked me, "Did your friend leave?" "Alright, I'm leaving." "Emily, you don't look well. Are you feeling unwell?" I shook my head, "It's nothing, maybe I just haven't been resting well lately." Actually, I knew it was the morning sickness getting worse. Coupled with mood swings, my body was indeed struggling. That afternoon, while organizing books, I suddenly felt a wave of nausea and rushed to the bathroom to vomit. Boss Wong came over worriedly, "Emily, what's wrong?" "It's nothing, maybe you ate something bad." He frowned as he looked at me. "Why don't you take some time off and go rest?" "I'm really fine, it'll get better after a while." But in the following days, this happened more and more often. I realized I had to see a doctor as soon as possible. Over the weekend, I went to the best obstetrics and gynecology hospital in the provincial capital. After a thorough examination, the doctor told me, "Congratulations, the baby is very healthy. But your physical condition isn't great, you have mild anemia and malnutrition." "Is it serious?" "Not too serious, but you need to take care of yourself." "Is this your first pregnancy?" "You have to pay special attention to nutrition and rest during pregnancy, and avoid overexertion." The doctor glanced at my test results. "Where's your husband? Why did you come alone?" I hesitated for a moment. "He is working out of town." "Then you need to take even better care of yourself." The doctor prescribed some vitamins and supplements. "Take them on schedule, and come back for a checkup next month." After leaving the hospital, I went to a nearby pharmacy to buy medicine. At checkout, the cashier glanced at the prescription. "These are all for pregnant women, congratulations." "How many months along are you?" "Just over 2 months." "That's exactly the time to be careful." The cashier was a middle-aged woman, very warm-hearted. "When I was pregnant with my son, the first 3 months were especially tough, but it got better later." I forced a smile. "Thank you. But you look a bit thin, you should eat more nutritious food." Back in the rented room, I stared at the table full of medicine bottles and suddenly felt a wave of helplessness. One person is pregnant, one person is going for prenatal checkups, and one person is facing it all alone. Can I really hold on? That evening, I received a call from Auntie in town. "Emily, are you okay?" "I'm fine, Auntie. Liam came back a few days ago, he looks worn out." Auntie sighed, "What's going on between you two? Why break up when everything seemed fine?" I paused. "Auntie, some things aren't up to me to decide." "Is it that his family doesn't agree?" Auntie lowered her voice, "I heard the Morone family is arranging a marriage for him." "You already know about this?" "The whole town is buzzing about it." Auntie was a bit upset. "I say, those rich folks are like that, flirting is fine, but when it comes to marriage, it has to be between families of equal status." I smiled bitterly, "That's why I chose to leave." "But Emily, you've been with him for 3 years, it would be such a pity to give up just like that." "Auntie, matters of the heart can't be forced." "So, now that you're alone out there, what are your plans?" I rubbed my belly. "I'll take good care of myself." After hanging up, I sat on the sofa, lost in thought. Auntie's words reminded me of the good times in the past. For 3 years, Liam had indeed treated me well, except he never gave me a status. But now, with a child, everything was different. I couldn't let the child be born out of wedlock, nor become a stumbling block in his family's alliance. Doing this would be best for everyone. The next day, I received a package. Inside was a bank card and a letter. The letter was from Liam. "Emily, there's some money in this card, it's what I've saved over the past 3 years. It's not easy for you out there alone, don't be too hard on yourself. Whether you want to come back to me or not, I just hope you live well. If you ever need any help, call me anytime. Reading this letter, tears welled up in my eyes again. He was always like this, even after we broke up, still silently caring for me. But this kind of care felt more like a burden to me. I returned the bank card with a note attached. Thank you for your kindness, but I don't need it. I hope you find someone truly right for you. Wishing you happiness. After sending the package, I knew it was truly over between us. 3 months passed, and my belly began to show. It was becoming harder and harder to hide my pregnancy at the bookstore, and I had to start thinking about quitting. Boss Wang is a meticulous person and had long noticed something was amiss. That afternoon, with no customers in the shop, he finally asked me, "Emily, are you pregnant?" I was taken aback for a moment, then nodded, yes. "And what about the child's father?" "We broke up." Boss Wang sighed, young people these days. He looked at me, "What do you plan to do?" "Take care of it yourself. Raising a child alone isn't easy." "Have you thought it through?" I nodded firmly, "I have." Boss Wang was silent for a moment. "Emily, I think you're a good girl, you don't deserve this kind of hardship." "Boss, I'm sorry, but I might not be able to continue working here." "Why?" "Because you're pregnant?" Boss Wang shook his head. "What does that have to do with anything? As long as your body allows it, you can work right up until you give birth." I was a bit surprised. "You don't mind?" "Mind about what?" "You haven't done anything wrong." Boss Wang patted my shoulder. "Besides, raising a child alone means you need to work even more. How could I possibly let you go at a time like this?" I was so touched I almost cried. "Thank you. But you have to take care of yourself. Rest when you're tired." With Boss Wang's support, my life became a bit more stable. But as the pregnancy progressed, the changes in my body became more and more obvious. It wasn't just my belly, I had gained weight all over, and walking was starting to get difficult. That night, I was working a part-time job at home when I suddenly received a call from an unknown number. "Is this Miss Emily?" "Yes, who is this?" "I'm the secretary from Murong Group. Our CEO would like to meet with you." My heart tightened. "Liam?" "No, it's our former CEO, Mr. Liam's father." "Liam's father? What does he want with me?" "Our CEO said he wants to talk to you about you and Liam." I hesitated for a moment. "When?" "If it's convenient for you, how about tomorrow afternoon?" The location is the Hilton Hotel Cafe. After hanging up the phone, I fell into deep thought. Liam's father suddenly reaching out to me could not be a good sign. But I still wanted to hear what he had to say. The next afternoon, I arrived at the Hilton Hotel on time. Liam's father was already waiting there, a man in his 50s, bearing a strong resemblance to Liam but with a more austere demeanor. "Miss Emily, please have a seat." His tone was polite, but his eyes were cold. After I sat down, he got straight to the point. "Miss Emily, I believe we're both smart people, so let's not beat around the bush. Please go ahead. I know about your relationship with my son, and I also know that you two have broken up." He paused. "I admire your wisdom." I said nothing, waiting for him to continue. "However, I've heard that you've been having some difficulties lately." He took a check out of his briefcase. "This is a small token, a compensation for the time you've spent with my son over the past 3 years." I glanced at the amount on the check, my heart jolting. It was a sum enough to provide for me and the child comfortably for many years. "I don't need this." I pushed the check back. "Miss Emily, you're pregnant now, and living alone isn't easy. This money will help you live better." I looked at him in surprise. "How did you know I was pregnant?" He smiled faintly. "There are very few things I want to know that can be hidden from me." "Then you should also know whose child this is." "Of course I know." His expression turned cold. "That's precisely why I want to talk to you." A bad feeling welled up inside me. "What do you want to say?" "This child cannot be kept." Liam's father's words struck me like a thunderbolt. What? This child will affect the reputation of the Morong family. His tone was calm, as if discussing something trivial. Miss Emily, I hope you can be rational. I instinctively shielded my belly. This is my child. And also the bloodline of the Morong family. His gaze sharpened. Miss Emily, you should know what an illegitimate child means to a family. I never intended for this child to acknowledge his ancestry. But the blood of the Morong family flows through him, and that fact will never change. Liam's father leaned back in his chair. If anyone finds out that Liam has an illegitimate child, it will seriously affect his future. I clenched my fists tightly. So what do you want to do? It's simple, get rid of the child, take this check, leave the provincial city, and never show up in my son's life again. I stood up in anger. Impossible. Miss Emily, please have a seat. His voice remained calm. We can discuss this properly. There's nothing to discuss. I turned to leave. 10 million. He suddenly spoke. If you're willing to cooperate, I can give you 10 million. He looked at my back. That money will be enough for you to live comfortably for the rest of your life. I turned around. What if I refuse? A cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Then you might find living in this city becomes very difficult. This was a threat. I understood that if I refused, he would use all kinds of means to force me to comply. I need some time to think. I forced myself to stay calm. Of course, but don't think about it for too long. He stood up. Miss Emily, I hope you make a wise choice. Stepping out of the hotel, my legs went weak, and I nearly stumbled. Liam's father was far more terrifying than I had imagined. He could casually ask me to kill my own child as if disposing of trash. Back in the rented room, I sat on the bed, lost in thought. 10 million, an astronomical sum for an ordinary person. But that meant I had to kill my own child with my own hands. I couldn't do that. No matter how hard it was, I had to give birth to this child. That night, I received a call from Liam. Emily, has my dad been to see you? His voice sounded anxious. So he knew about it. Yes. What did he say? I paused for a moment. He told me to abort the baby. There was the sound of something breaking on the other end of the line. Bastard! Liam shouted angrily, how could he do that? Liam, you knew I was pregnant? He was silent for a long time. I found out. Emily, why didn't you tell me? What good would telling you do? I smiled bitterly. Didn't you say it wasn't the right time to have a child? His voice choked, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. It's not your fault. I stroked my belly, it was my own choice. Emily, where are you? I'm coming to find you right now. No need. I refused, Liam, we've already broken up, let's not see each other anymore. But the child. I will raise the child on my own, I don't need you to be responsible. No. His emotions flared, that's my child. I can't let you bear all of this alone. Then what can you give me? I retorted, a name? Or just financial support? He fell silent again. Liam, I don't want the child to be a bastard, nor do I want to be a source of conflict between you and your family. I took a deep breath, so please, don't contact me anymore. Emily. I hung up the phone. That night, I couldn't sleep. What would Liam's father do to me? He said he would make my life difficult in this city, what did that mean? The next morning, just as I arrived at the bookstore, I got a call from Boss Wang. Emily, sorry, the bookstore might have to close temporarily. My heart sank. Why? Someone reported us for not having a proper business license, and the authorities came to shut us down. Boss Wang's voice was full of helplessness. Although I think it's ridiculous, there's nothing we can do but suspend operations for now. I understood. This was Liam's father's tactic. He wanted me to lose my job, lose my source of income, so I'd have no choice but to accept his terms. Sure enough, I got a call from him that afternoon. "Miss Emily, have you made up your mind?" "You're really something," I said through gritted teeth. "Miss Emily, you flatter me." "I just want you to see reality clearly." Liam's father's voice was filled with pride. "In this city, if I want someone to disappear, there are many ways to make it happen. I will not give in." "Is that so? Then let's keep going." The following week, I truly understood what despair meant. First, the landlord suddenly informed me that he was taking back the apartment for renovations. Then, every new job I applied for told me on the very first day that they no longer needed me. Even the freelance work I did online was abruptly cancelled by the client. The money I had was dwindling, while my belly grew bigger day by day. That night, I sat in the half-empty rental room, gently touching my stomach. "Baby, it seems like mommy really can't hold on anymore." Just when I was about to lose all hope, Liam appeared. He looked haggard, with a scruffy beard and bloodshot eyes. "Emily, I know everything," he said as he approached me. "I won't let anyone hurt you or the baby." The moment I saw him, my defenses completely collapsed. "Liam." I threw myself into his arms and cried out loud. "Don't cry, don't cry." He held me tightly. "It's all over now, I'm here." "Your father, I've already talked to him." Liam's voice was firm. "From today on, no one can threaten you anymore." "But your arranged marriage?" I refused. He cupped my face. "Emily, I've thought it through. You and the child are more important than the family's interests." I couldn't believe it. "Really? Really?" He kissed my forehead. "I've confronted my family. If they don't accept you, then I'll leave the Morone family." "Is it worth it?" "For you and the baby, everything is worth it." He crouched down, gently stroking my belly. "Baby, Daddy's late, I'm sorry." At that moment, I felt like the whole world lit up. "Liam, let's go home." "All right, let's go home." A month later, we held our wedding in the small town. Although no one from the Morone family came, the townsfolk all showed up. Auntie was so happy she couldn't stop smiling. "I knew you two would end up together." The wedding was simple, but I was very happy. Wearing my wedding dress, my belly was already quite big, but Liam said I was the most beautiful bride in the world. "Although we don't have family support, I believe we can succeed." "I believe in you." I leaned into his embrace. "We'll work hard together." 6 months later, our son was born. A very healthy boy, who looked like Liam. Liam held our son, tears filling his eyes. "Thank you, Emily, thank you for giving me such a precious gift." I smiled weakly. "I should be the one thanking you. Thank you for choosing us." "Fool, I will never regret this choice." The arrival of the child made our family more complete. Liam played with our son every day, told him stories, and soothed him to sleep. Watching their father-son interactions, I felt that all the hardships before were worth it. A year later, Liam's tourism project succeeded. The town became more beautiful because of his development and attracted more visitors. I returned to work at the library, but now as the director. Liam said, "Of course, my wife should have a respectable job." Sometimes, I think back to those difficult days. If I hadn't had the courage to leave, if Liam hadn't had the courage to choose, what would we be like now? Maybe I'd still be his canary, maybe our children would really be illegitimate. But now, everything is the best arrangement. Liam's father occasionally sends us some money, as compensation for his grandson. Liam always sends it back untouched. We don't need his guilt. I understand his stubbornness and support his decision. We have each other, children, and love, that is enough. At night, Liam held me. "Emily, do you regret marrying me?" "Why do you ask?" "If you had married someone else back then, maybe life would have been easier." I kissed his lips. "Liam, if I had to choose again, I would still choose you." "Why?" "Because you gave me the most precious thing in the world." "What?" "Love, and our child." Our son was sound asleep in the next room, breathing softly. It was the most beautiful music in the world. Our story began with an unexpected pregnancy and ended with a perfect family. Although the journey was full of twists and turns, the ending was sweet. Love requires courage, perseverance, and, above all, the determination to make sacrifices for each other. I am very grateful that we both made it.